What's up, everybody? I'm Aaron, your host. This is This Week in Gaming. It's going to be our last This Week in Gaming. For those of you that saw the little tagline, we have to do a little rebrand, little rechange up on how things are going with the naming convention. But we're going to have a little fun with it and come up with something fun to do. I am joined this week with Jimmy and Stevie. Jimmy, how are things? How you been, bud?
Things are going well. Kind of a slow start to the year, ups and downs. Today is day 24 dry, so we'll see how it goes for the rest of the 100 days.
Oh, doing the full 100 days sober. That's going to be something else. I've actually had to start doing the same thing. I started feeling like I was getting a little bit too many headaches, and I'm trying a little dry spell to see if that might have been what was doing it. Stevie, what have you been up to?
Uh, I am still drinking.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I don't know if I want to say a healthy amount because it's drinking. But I have been hanging out, man. I've had a pretty busy week here. We've got some changes happening within the home front on some life stuff happening, so we're adjusting for that. We're kind of prepping for February. There's a whole slew of games coming out February as well. I'm trying to make sure my year in review video is ready to go as well for the stream life and a couple small things, a handful of big things, but for the most part, you know, new year, still me.
New Year,
Type
still
deal.
me. Jimmy, what have you been playing lately? It's been a minute since we've had you on. Um, Probably 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I can't remember exactly off the top of the head. But what have you been playing lately?
I've been tinkering around with some slower games, maybe some ones that I'm not typically going to play on stream because maybe they're not as story driven as I like, or I don't feel that they're as engaging for the community as I would like. So I've been pretty addicted to Project Zomboid. Me and my buddy Jasper, we've been playing a lot of Project Zomboid to the point where we actually set up a server on one of my computers here at the house that is always running. And I think one of us is on there most times of the day. Apart from that, I picked up and was tinkering with Kerbal Space Program again because it's good to play something relaxing, but at the same time challenging once in a while.
Hey Jimmy, if I have my mom talk to your mom, can I come play Project Zomboid as well?
If you want,
Cool.
you're more than welcome. We don't have any mods on the server yet, so if you have mods you prefer, let us know.
You just have to yell
Dude,
for your mom to come
I,
pick you up when you get in
bro,
trouble.
I barely have matching socks, dude. I don't have mods. I'm not set up like that, dude.
Some some people only play with mods.
Some people just want to play with mods. Stevie,
I'm
if
so
you
simple.
so what have you been playing? If you're not playing Project Zomboid,
So I've been doing, the usual Tarkov, that's just never stopping. However, we've actually been putting a lot of time in with some of the RTSs. We've been playing a lot of Company Heroes too, which has been really fun to do. We've been playing most recently Call to Arms and Call to Arms Osterfront, which is really fun. Call to Arms is a game that I play on and off, but God, whenever I play it, I am just enjoying the absolute hell out of it because it's an RTS game, but it has a functionality in there where if you click a button, it allows you to go first person with any one of the characters that you have on the map, which is really, really rad. So it's for the actual Call to Arms part, it's all modern units, modern combat. So you have you pick an army, you pick like, a nation, and then you have like their units. So for instance, you pick the US, you have um you can deploy, infantry, regular infantry, machine gunners, scouts, snipers, all that. Then they got specialty units. They have airborne, they have marines, they have rangers, they have delta, they have seals, and then they have like subsections of those as well, and it's pretty involved, but it's not overwhelming, and it's actually really fun when you start playing it, especially with the ability to go first person. So if you're deploying units in the game on certain parts of the map and you're trying to like take a point and you're just watching your guys mess around, you start getting irritated, you just snap down and then you just take over one of the units and it just turns into an FPS and you just start blasting away and it's super rad, and then you back out And then, you can do the same thing with vehicles, your helicopters, your planes, your tanks and troop carriers and all of that. And it's super, super fun. And for the fellow nerds and nerd enthusiasts out there, they actually have one of the coolest mods I've ever seen. It is a Halo mod. And they didn't take the mods, which you would assume they would take from like Halo Wars. They actually grabbed the mod kit from Halo 2, like the original like Halo 2. So they have the UNSC, you have the Covenant, you have all the guns. You could play as a Spartans, you could deploy Spartans with SMGs, shotguns, lasers, all that, and then you could take over on them. And it actually feels really cool, really fluid. The gun sounds are identical, the vehicle sounds are identical. Like it's another one of those cool rabbit holes of Steam to just dive down because you're like, "Oh, this is real. Oh man, it's real and it's actually good. It's not just, for the sake of saying that, oh, here's a mod for." Like it's really awesome. And we've been playing it with Cam, playing it with Drudy, and grabbing some of the people from the community, and we've been playing some of those. It's been a lot of fun. It's kind of shuffling around, trying to break into playing other games, especially February. You got a couple of games that are coming out, and we're gonna pop
Few.
back into a little more of the variety. Yeah, a few. Yeah, a
Just a
few.
couple. Yeah, just a
A
couple
couple. Just
games.
just just a couple. Just a couple.
Yeah.
2022 is, if anything good comes out of 2022, it is the games that are coming out this year.
Yeah.
Like that's gonna be super rad. I'm really
Yeah.
looking forward to that. So
That for some reason there's like an old game that pops up in my head, and it's there was like a Command and Conquer first person game that they tried to do way back when. It was you dropped
yes.
in
Pancakes.
and you played as the character that you were, and then I don't remember anything about it. I didn't play it. I just remember it popped
It
up.
was terrible.
It was
It
awful.
looked
Played it.
like just dog crap.
It's
It
bad.
just looked
It
awful.
was bad.
It was really bad. You know what they copied? It seemed like they copied. I can't remember the name of it, but it was an N64 game. It was a third
Turok,
person
maybe.
N64 game. No, not Turok. It was like an N64, like you were some like little space commando marine deal, and you popped onto like it was like a jungle planet,
Mm.
and then it was like a linear shooter. You just ran through like beaches and you were fighting. It honestly looked like if somebody overseas tried to copy Halo before Halo was even out. Like it just wasn't good, and the guns were super lame in that Command and Conquer, and it just wasn't
It
good. Like
just didn't play well.
that was the game you would play on your computer and tell your friends, yeah, I was gaming on my PC last night, guys. While they're playing like Wolfenstein and like the original like Dooms and all that, and you're just sitting there with this game that you bought from the local dollar store because it was there. Yeah, it was bad,
Yeah,
really, really bad. I remember that.
yeah.
Sadly,
I,
I
I
did
remember I
play it.
remember seeing the screenshots. I was like, that looks like crap. But I didn't have a PC at the time, so I wasn't playing it anyway, so it didn't matter. But yeah, so I'm right there with you though. Like I want to jump into a bunch of different games more and more. I finally got level 15 on Tarkov like last week, and
Everybody clap. Everybody clap.
that's a big moment. You get the flea, and basically I just have been doing nothing but just running the flea market scams that I do on Tarkov. So that's basically been my gaming, has been just running flea market scams and running scabs to go do more flea market scams. Um,
Aaron is like the Bernie Madoff of the Tarkov market.
I
It's actually
just I
very
just
impressive.
I
Spoken
just
like a true NFT vendor.
exactly, that's what I'm doing. I'm selling apes on trading cards that don't exist. Um, yeah, it's been fun. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like I've had a lot of fun, kind of messing around on Tarkov this wipe, and I'm ready to jump into the next thing. I think, and that next thing feels like it's gonna be God of War for the PC. It feels like that's what the next one's gonna be.
It should for you, man. Like I'm never one to sit here and like tell somebody you should totally, but if there's anybody that I'm going to tell that to, it's definitely you and your
Yeah,
nerdy self. Like I would love to just sit and ride along for that adventure, seeing you play God of War and just like enjoying it. It's not even Jimmy's played it. You played it and beat it, right, man? So he gets it. Like it's not even it's like one of those. It's a staple. It's gonna be a staple. 10 years from now, I'm gonna be telling Evie about it. She's gonna be playing in the metaverse, and I'm gonna be, in my day, we had the God of War, and Teal'c was Kratos, and you don't even know Teal'c yet. But it's just it's the aesthetic. The artwork is second to none. The story is absolutely incredible. The gameplay is so fluid, and it's just beautiful. It is a work of art uh that is a game that you're allowed to play through, and
Yeah.
it's so good, and the story is just, I don't know. You're gonna be calling you're not even gonna call her by her. You're just gonna be walking around calling your kid a boy, and
Boy.
she's gonna be
Boy,
looking at you.
come here.
Just be looking at you. Did you see that Christopher Judge? I can't remember what Game Awards it was, but him and the kid, they were announcing something, and it was such fan service, but it's one of my most favorite things. But he's like, and the nominees are, and he's like, and the nominees are, and the kid's just like standing there, like just effing off, not paying attention, looking around, and finally he just goes, "Read it, boy," and the kid like pay attention, he starts reading it, and like everybody went nuts. It was so good, man. But it's just Christopher Judge, class act. Chris, if you're watching this, man, I love you.
It
Teal for
was
everybody.
December 2018, so it was the year Game of War, God of War came out.
Mhm. Yeah, the year
So they
Game
were
of War came out.
announcing
The Game of War.
The Game of War.
content creator of the year at the Game
Mm.
Awards.
Hmm. Yeah, read
Amazing.
it, boy. Read it, boy.
Yeah, I'm
Boy,
excited to give it a try. It's definitely been
awesome.
on the list of games that I want to play. Along with a
Mhm.
laundry list of other PlayStation exclusives that I haven't actually touched, and we've touched on that in the past. Um,
Hmm.
but tonight we're gonna be jumping into something a little bit different because we're talking about EA and we're talking about Blizzard. We're talking about a bunch of games from a company that hardly anybody really likes, except we love one little company that they own called Respawn. We love this little upstart, scrappy company that just makes awesome games.
The little developer that could.
The little developer that's done stuff that you might know as Titanfall, Jedi Fallen Order,
Ooh. Oh.
Apex Legends. So,
Apex is the only one that I don't like out of that. I should say don't like, but it's one that I
this
couldn't
one that we just don't
get
play.
into.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
I
one I
just
couldn't
don't
get
play it.
into,
But
I've never gotten into it.
but they're great.
they're good games, and we've talked about you know not, we've talked about Apex, we've talked about sort of battle royale stuff in the past, but we've also talked about how they've been expanding that franchise out to try things like Arena, and how they've been
Mhm.
talking about how they want to do Titans again someday if they ever get a chance
They
to.
should, man. They
If they
should.
It seems
Oh,
and I have played through Jedi Fallen Order and how I've loved the hell out of it. I know Stevie has played it as well.
look,
Like
oh man,
these are
Jimmy,
these
have you played it?
we're we're
I
excited
got
about these.
about I got a couple hours into it. It didn't click with me.
Okay, so
Yeah.
is there any?
I got real bored with it, like
eh,
very
oh,
quickly.
okay, so there's no chance of you going back and trying to like beat it, play it, or anything like that.
I might if I get like a Soulsborne itch, like at some point, maybe when I
I really,
retire and decide to pick up all the Souls games and punish myself, that'll
I
probably be me.
really want to talk about Jedi Fallen Order, and the one thing that it did that makes a great staple for anything Star Wars, and it's like, especially the Star Wars, true Star Wars of the
Yeah.
last like 5 years that they've done, and it's like, you know what, Jimmy, I love you to death, man, but we'll talk when we come to
We're
it.
probably
When
gonna
we come
we're
to
gonna
it,
spoil a couple things probably.
yeah,
But
maybe.
it is
No,
also a game that's been out for a hot minute.
God,
Just
yeah.
spoil it. You're
Yeah.
not gonna fucking
So,
ruin it for me. It's not.
um
I wasn't there
so
like, oh no, I'll never finish the story.
I never finished the Star Wars game. I don't know why I did it in an Italian accent there, but I did.
It's
Hey,
the sad Mario. It's the sad
Hey,
Mario.
sad Mario.
Let me find
Um,
out.
so I just want to do a little bit of quick housekeeping here. I want to say thank you to Xenocide for following, and thank you, Jimmy and Nubs, for the host. I do appreciate it. We also have brand new shiny sub badges on the Call for Fire Twitch channel. If you decide to sub, you will have a nice shiny badge next to your name. It is the Warfighter helmet and head in bronze, silver, and gold. And to include some value for your purchase of the subscription, you actually get access to the private channels on the Call for Fire Discord, including some Call for Fire freebies, and you also get some occasional at my whim sales that I will pitch to the subscribers and the boosters of the Call for Fire Discord. So make sure if you are subscribed, make sure you go check out the channel. It's another layer of nerdy dorkiness and more fun wallpapers and art that I do. And you get a little bit more
Definitely stole
glimpse
my
into the
wallpaper from the
everyday
freebie channel.
workings of the Call for Fire world. So this week's sponsor is Moms. If you got a mom, make sure you go out there and say thank you. That's your sponsor.
Thanks,
Tell her
Mom.
thanks, Mom. Give her a
Ma,
call. Call your mom. Tell her I
Ma,
said
we got
hi.
any meatloaf?
Ma, thanks for being mom.
Thanks for
Aaron told me
being
to tell
mom.
you.
Yeah.
About that meatloaf?
We're good.
So I think we'll probably start by talking about the Blizzard game that has been announced. Blizzard, in another show of, hey, we're still a good company and we're still working, at the back end of this Xbox acquisition, uh, has announced that they are going to be doing a brand new. Let me pull it up there. There we go. Survival
Oh,
game.
that's right. I did see this morning.
So they are doing a new IP survival game. So this is a brand new universe, nothing that we've seen before. Whatever that means to them, because it could be whatever the hell Blizzard decides they want it to be.
Yep. And what was their last new IP? Overwatch?
It was Overwatch, yeah, and they did that big splash announcement at BlizzCon for that one. So like they basically brought BlizzCon. They went to BlizzCon with Overwatch and said, "Guess what? We have a brand new game. Guess what? It's playable right now, and you can all play it." And that's how they introduced Overwatch to the world. This is a bit
Amazing.
different of an approach, saying, "Hey, we're working on a brand new game. We have two pieces of art that we can show you. Here is one piece of the artwork, and then if I scroll down, here is the other piece of artwork that they have shown us. Very
The other thing is
intriguing
it's
pieces of
also
artwork. This is these are interesting pieces to show, because if we look at this one, it's just the fantasy world. It's what you kind of expect from a Blizzard game. The art style is very similar to what we've seen before.
Very Blizzardy.
A lot of the character design here is something that would fit right in with a World of Warcraft game. But then we go back to the other piece and check that piece back out, and like we see modern era on the left. We see a bicycle. We see people kind of going through a portal into like the magical world. And what are we getting from this? Is it gonna, like, what story are
Like
we gonna be told here? Is this like
if it's not Chronicles of Narnia meets Fallout, I'm gonna be heavily disappointed.
exactly like is that what we're seeing here? Is that, are we seeing something like that's the story that we're being told here? Is like these are people that are brought to this world, sort of Heroes of the Storm esque, right? Like where
Isekai.
they're brought from one place. Yeah, right. What is it called? Izakaya?
Isekai.
Isekai.
It's an
Yeah.
entire genre of anime.
Yeah, we talked about that
Sweet
before.
moment.
So you're seeing some hints being told here through these two
In
pieces
case
of
you haven't
art.
figured out that we're nerdy around here,
Yeah.
we just
And this is PC and console game, and it's a survival game. And what is interesting to me about any kind of survival game is how much that pulls at the threads that we've talked about in the past, where um, these are sort of what people are making now. This is what
Mhm.
is being pushed by most companies into the world of the raid games, the survival games, the persistent inventory systems, the scavenging, finding food, finding water. These seem to be where games are going, and this continues to be a trend that we're seeing pushed. And this makes it even more evident. This is Blizzard saying, "Okay, we're gonna jump our hat. We're gonna throw our hat in the ring on this," because that's what they do. Is they see the trends, they pick out the pieces that they like the most out of those trends, and then they go make a game that is like one of the top games in
Yeah,
that
they
genre.
polish the shit out of it.
Yeah, they find
So,
every way to make it as good as they possibly can,
mhm.
and then they put it out there
23
and
minutes.
say, "Okay, well, we're gonna make a couple $1 billion on this." So,
So I have a thought on that as well, and it's kind of in the same thread of like nerd things that are happening. When Disney purchased Marvel, which was what was that? Was that a year after the first Iron Man came? Not even. It was like 6 months or something after the first Iron Man came out, wasn't it? Like the first Iron Man came out, and then Disney bought them like very shortly after. I thought it was like crazy. Like the window on that was like very short because Disney had bought it, and that's when like the MCU had started.
Disney
And
purchased Marvel on December 31st, 2009.
and then the first Iron Man came out. What
I
what
think
was
first
that?
Iron Man came out in 2007 or 8. Because I remember I watched
8,
The
I think
Incredible
8.
Hulk with
I,
I watched The Incredible Hulk
Norton.
with Norton in 2008.
Norton, yeah. So 7. Was it 7? I don't know. Okay, anyway.
Not
I
important.
no,
2008,
not in
like
bed.
Kane said.
Okay. So I remember, yeah. So yeah, like 2000. Okay. So I remember when all this shuffled out, and I remembered like reading all sorts of things like popping up online and all sorts of like little blurbs and all that good jazz that people were talking about when it happened. Disney goes, buys Marvel. They have a cute little staff meeting, and they pretty much grab Kevin Feige and everybody else, and they write them a blank check, and they're like, "Hey, Avengers, assemble, slap on the table, make it happen. Let's get this going like as fast as we can. Like, come on, let's do this thing." And that turned into a huge deal. Last week's episode we talked about how you know, Blizzard went and got picked up by Microsoft, you know, Activision, EA, like all these things. We had talked about how EA and or not EA. We talked about Activision. It was Activision Blizzard, right?
Activision Blizzard
Activision Blizzard
Blizzard.
bought by
Yes. Okay.
acquired by Microsoft. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. So they get picked up. This is huge, and this is the excitement that we were kind of talking about. Like we were talking before we started the show. We were talking about like how this is one of those. This is really cool how it kind of segues into what we were talking about in last week's episode. But it's amazing at how fast, and this is what I remember mentioning. Like, I'm excited to see how quickly this turns. Last week, Microsoft buys it. The following week, here's a new IP. Here's a new thing that people love and rave about, these survival worlds, and like here's this thing. And in 2 photos, if we wanted to, we could sit here and break down these 2 photos for a half hour each
Hmm.
and try to like pick it apart and figure out what it is. Just being people, just being gamers with a wide variety of games that we play, games we have played, and things that that we like to play and things we like to kind of like delve into as far as nerd stuff goes. Like that is how you market the hell out of something, first of all. That's how you market the hell out of something, first of all, to get people to go, okay, I'm interested. I want more of this. What is it? And
Yeah.
that's exciting. Like, that is just a preview of, I think, stuff that is going to be coming out later this year after this acquisition. And I am so here for it. Like, everything I'm seeing in these photos, just the two of them, because it's so crazy because it's they like jumpstart like different parts of like your nerdiness, like you're looking at this one and it's like, okay, why does this person look like an elven archer, ranger, skeleton head, all the bits and pieces? It kind of reminds me of what's her face's gear in like Horizon Zero Dawn, like one of the skins she gets like with the helmets. It's like, okay, like what is happening here? And then there's like a mirror that's on the wall, and things are busted up. And then you go to the other one, you see the bike and the people, and it's just there's so much curiosity there, and there's so much happening, and you can't help but just want to dive into it and go, let's break this down. Like this is going to be absolutely incredible. But it's that kind of creativity and excitement that I think is what makes video games so fun and so great. And a company like Blizzard who just does things well, this is going to be really exciting, man. And a new IP, I mean, new IPs can always they're it's 50-50. They can either be really exciting or they could be something that we make fun of in like a year from now. And like, you remember when blank Blizzard's batting average is pretty good. It's pretty
Like I
good.
just said, Blizzard, if they're gonna put their mind to something, typically they don't make a lot of crap or a lot of really shoehorn stuff. Like if they're gonna put time
Mhm,
into it and announce it, it'll
mhm.
probably be good. Like I mean, for example, look at what is it, Diablo Eternal? No, what is it? The mobile port.
Mm.
The Diablo that they came out with on
The
mobile.
mobile, no,
Like
nothing. I got nothing. I didn't really pay attention to that.
so it was a meme for 2 or 3 years
Mhm.
because basically people were like, all right, you put this out for Eastern audiences
It's
because
Diablo
where mobile
Immortal.
gaming is a lot bigger. Immortal. Okay, thank you. Um, but it crushes. It's everybody who's played it raves and says this is a great game. Like this is the way if gaming were to be on mobile, like this is it in every way. Like this is the right way to do it. And so it's like whatever they're gonna dip their toe into, they're typically not half passing it.
Yeah, right.
Um, but truthfully, the other thing with this announcement is you look at is not only was this an announcement of the game, uh, but it was also a call for talent. So they're actually looking to hire people to work on the game at the same time because they need more talent. Because there is actually a very large labor shortage in the game industry right now.
Mm.
Yeah,
So they're not only were they announcing the game, but they're asking people to come work on it, which I think is pretty exciting too.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
hell yeah,
this
man.
is a much different. Like I was saying, this is a much different release from what we saw with Overwatch, where they had all the talent that they needed, and now they have all of the money that they need in order to hire all the talent that they
Mhm.
need. So we're seeing a game in a much earlier stage than we probably have from Blizzard in a hot minute. Like this is a much different approach for them. Um, and I don't think I've seen concept art this early since the early twinklings of World of Warcraft back in 2004
Yeah,
when I started to see that. And
I don't know. I
that
think
was
that's
when
the
World of
stuff like
Warcraft was still a third person adventure game. And that's I think that's the last time I've seen like really like super concept art being pushed instead of the game being pushed
Mhm.
from this company.
I'm, I mean, the last time I saw stuff like that, I was reading it in magazines back when before the internet was
Yeah, right,
quite as
exactly.
useful
Like
as it is
this
today.
is
Mm,
this is
what
taking us back for sure to a time that
Game
is actually
Informer?
pretty interesting and like exciting to see a company like Blizzard do again. Because this is like
You're talking like
we're going back to full on creative mode. Like we need people, we need fresh bodies, we need people because we have probably purged a bunch of douchebags from the company in recent
probably.
weeks and months. Probably in the last week, they probably all got fired.
I was just gonna say
Probably
there there's
more than
there's
likely. So
they're still mailing severances.
yeah, so we're probably
We'll see.
seeing
There's Bobby Kotick still kicking around for at least another year.
yeah. So we're gonna see what this becomes, but it's really
Heritages won't
exciting
stop.
for me because I'm like, yeah, this is great. I love everything that Blizzard releases because it's again it's polished to a degree that no one else does, and it'll be as tight as they can get it, and it'll be all of the best parts of this genre that they have decided are the best parts, and they will be right because that's what they do, and
And
it'll
Jimmy said
be
it best. They don't
extremely
they
tight.
don't ha- they don't half-ass anything, which is
They
always
don't
very
release a new
exciting.
IP in
Mm.
a bad state
Unless it's
either.
a remaster.
A remaster is not that's not what we're talking about.
Yeah, yeah,
We're not
that's what we're
talking
Talking
about
talking
the
about you, Warcraft.
remasters. That's a different team
Talking about you,
entirely.
Warcraft 3.
about.
Yeah, we're not talking about remasters. We're talking about new IPs.
We're
I
looking at
new
you.
IPs they do not half step on at all.
I
They
I
always hit
still
and they always launch and they always just crush.
I'm still kind of in a I'm still in like a state of denial. We'll call it shock of how everything happened with Overwatch. We talked about that, about how it's like, hey, this game, we're announcing it and it's live right now. You can play it, like go check it out. Like that's wild. Like,
Yeah,
hey,
that
I
was
think
an
we're gonna do a new
intense.
game, and then like months later, it's like, hey, yeah, that remember that game we were talking about? We did it. It's already out.
Yep.
Go ahead and go play it right now. You can go check it out outside. What?
Yeah.
I
we
mean, that's kind of Blizzard's. That's been Blizzard's shtick for a while. It's kind of like, hey, we're not announcing this game. Like, we have this game. We've been working on it. So, like, if you look
Mhm.
at a lot of like the what is it, BlizzCon footage over the last couple of years, they do that usually a couple of times a show. But Overwatch is definitely the biggest iteration of that, where it's not like, hey, there's a beta to play. It's like, hey, here's a game.
This
They
is
do it
the
like
game.
all the time with Hearthstone.
Yeah. I'm very excited about this.
Mhm.
Being a Blizzard fan, I was a big World of Warcraft guy. I played all of their catalog. This is just something that I'm definitely gonna pick it up. We'll see if it continues down the same pay to play, because who knows? This might be their entry into the free to play.
Yeah, true.
With the rest of the people that are doing this for this kind of game, because a lot of those games are going that direction. So we will see what they decide to do. Whatever it is, I'll pick it up and I'll play the hell out of it because I'm excited for that. I'm just in. I'm just excited. I just want to play it. I say that about a lot of games, and then I just end up playing Escape from Tarkov nonstop. But this one I will definitely play. It's right up my alley, and I think
Not
we'll probably have some big game nights on this one for sure. Whatever it ends up becoming, because I'll be watching it, and we'll probably talk about it a lot more over the next 2 years. It's in development, so stay tuned. I think that's what that one comes from. To move on, we do have some more news, and that is EA is announcing 3 brand new games from
Oh,
Respawn in the Star Wars universe. 3 Star Wars games, all different genres. So we're getting 3 Respawn. One is a first-person shooter. One is a continuation of the Jedi series, the Jedi Fallen Order games, and then we're also
mm,
getting a strategy game from Respawn. Let me go ahead and just pull up that piece of wonderful news. So it was announced on Lucasfilm, EA, and Respawn. They all kind of did their thing, their little takes on it. But I have up here from StarWars.com. Um, Electronic Arts and Lucasfilm Games announced new Star Wars titles in development from Respawn Entertainment. So the big pieces here are, yes, we're getting 3 games. We're getting the Jedi game, so another hack and slash adventure with probably our boy Cal Kestis. I'm excited about that.
awesome character. Awesome character.
We're also getting a first-person shooter. This is a first-person shooter from Peter Hirschman, who is the game director for this one, but was also the executive producer, I think, for the original Battlefront games, and is also a Lucasfilm or Lucas Arts alum. So that's got some good pedigree to it. And then the strategy game is actually coming from so it's a production collaboration between Respawn and Bit Reactor, and doing the digging that we had to do to figure out who the hell Bit Reactor was. They're a brand new studio coming from one of the guys that worked on XCOM. So their whole thing is that they want to do turn-based games. So we're more than likely seeing a turn-based strategy game from the people that worked on XCOM. We're getting a
Pretty
FPS from people that worked on the original Battlefront games, which everybody loved. And then we're also getting a continuation of a really great story in Jedi Fallen Order and whatever they end up calling it.
Do have a note on the first-person shooter. I am seeing people are saying that it's made by, like, you talk about, was it the executive producer? It's also the
Yes.
team that did Medal of Honor Above and Beyond, which was not great.
That was
Was
the
not
VR
great.
one,
But it
though,
was
wasn't it?
that was the VR one. So hopefully,
Okay,
as long as
that
they stay out of VR, this
I
one
won't
might be
hold
okay.
anybody to
that
whatever they've done in VR, to be honest.
no, God no.
I'll
That
never
was
hold somebody to VR. That's
no.
not something,
That
but I understand where that comes from. Like, yeah, it was probably just a not great
that that's the
foray for people that were trying something new.
that's the same. I don't hold anything against people that had to make things for um what was that? The PlayStation. It was the PlayStation. What the hell was it called? Where you had like the fucking motion thing. They had
Move, PlayStation Move,
PlayStation
the
Move.
move. Yeah, I don't hold anything on
or
that
was it
one
just
because
PSVR?
no, it wasn't VR. So it wasn't VR. It was one of the last SOCOM game that was made. You were able to play it with that. You're able to like you went and bought. It
Oh, is
was
it the
like
stupid ball fucking
yeah,
wand things?
The
yeah,
ball wand.
Yeah,
ball wand thing. Yeah. I can't remember the name of it, but you
The
nailed exactly
old
what it.
ball wand.
The old ball wand stuff. That's our other
yeah. It says SOCOM
our
4 in 2011 PS Move.
yeah, the move. Yeah, it was a PS move. We'll talk
It's
about
gonna
the
be hard
old we'll
passing me
talk about
about.
the old ball and wand and the after hours.
It's a ball
The
in a
after
cup.
hours one.
You take the ball and you
You
put it
take
in
the
the
ball,
cup.
you put it in the
Put in
cup.
the cup.
Yeah, yeah, it's hard to hold things against it because it's like if you're a developer studio, if you're a developer company and you have a contract and somebody comes up and goes, "All right, what's our next game up? What do you want us to do?" And they slap this thing on the table and they're like, "VR game," or they slap this thing on the table. It's like you're gonna make an interactive shooter, third person. Like this is what you're doing. You're like, oh shit. Okay,
You're gonna
okay.
make an always online multiplayer game, even though you only make single player focused content, and you're gonna
Perfect.
fly
Right.
around like Iron Man.
Yeah, I'm
You
not.
won't give it no story.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. What's wrong with that?
Yeah,
I'm with it.
just run with it, man. You make video games, make this one. Um, yeah, I think this is there's nothing. So there's nothing else to this. It's sort of like the Blizzard news right now, right? It's them putting out a release saying we're gonna make these games. We have the people that you like to make these games, but we also need a lot of people. So make sure you guys go check out our job
Yeah,
board.
we're gonna take
That's
this
like
awesome.
they've done the
Well,
same thing where it's like, yeah, okay, well,
yeah.
but also we need you to come help us make this game because
Mhm.
we don't know if we have enough people to do it right now.
Right.
Whoa, it was
Right.
loud. So we're looking at like the similar situation where you're putting out news that you want people to know about because these are big announcements. We're seeing more EA Star Wars, which I don't think anybody was really, other than knowing that Jedi
Expecting.
was going to be a game, like Jedi Fallen Order was going to continue. I don't think anybody was expecting them to be still putting out a lot of Star Wars after Lucasfilm
Oh,
said,
especially after
Yeah.
y-
after they lost exclusivity.
yeah, once Lucas Arts or Lucasfilm Games, I think they're Lucasfilm Games
Lucasfilm
now.
Games.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
once they stood that back up, I don't think anybody was thought that they were going to continue being sort of a Star Wars studio other than the Fallen Order games. I have
Speaking
had
of,
a lot of fun with the last two releases from EA, to include Star Wars Squadrons. I loved Star Wars Squadrons. I would
We
play
played the
Star
hell
Wars.
out of that one.
I would still play Star Squadrons to this day if I could get a damn group together that wouldn't just melt at first contact with the enemy. That is a different story. Um,
well, I can't promise that, otherwise I'd offer to play it.
it is a fun game.
I
It's a great
I will
piece
play
of
it. I will
gaming.
not be good at it.
Um, I have a lot of fun with that, and I had a blast playing Fallen Order. Fallen Order isn't my game style, but I had a lot of fun playing it. I'm not good at Souls games.
Yeah,
I'm not versed in that type of gameplay, but I still got in it. I still had a lot of fun playing it. Um, I do want to go back in and do that, I will definitely be doing it on easy because I don't really care about being challenged at that level in a Star Wars game. I want to feel like a Jedi. And if I don't feel like a Jedi and I just feel like an asshole with a sword flinging around, I'm probably not going to have a whole lot of fun doing that. So I will tone down the difficulty, throw myself at the enemy, and slice their heads off. And I'll have a blast doing it. And me and BD will get down and go crush some stormtrooper skulls.
Mm-hmm.
That
I
said,
oh,
As a side note, sorry, did did, did you see the other thing that was announced from Lucasfilm Games?
hmm,
They are making a Indiana Jones game.
oh, well, that just changes the entire night. Uh, that's a piece of information that we could have done
So
at the top.
it is being developed by Machine Games, which is the same studio that made the Wolfenstein franchise.
Oh, all right.
flag
Well,
on the play. Hold on.
that's something
Hold
else
on a
too.
second.
That's an interesting piece of that's an interesting little tidbit. I'm very excited about that too. That's great.
Aaron,
They announced
Aaron,
it January 12th.
am I having a stroke?
I missed that entirely. And that
Man,
I mean, the last Indiana Jones game I can
wow.
remember was on my NES,
yeah, I played one on I think Sega
Temple
Genesis.
of Doom.
Man, you guys.
Actually,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, you guys.
Where
I,
I'm
do you
I'm,
need
I'm
new
not. I'm
pants
not.
over there,
I'm not
Stevie?
dating myself. That. What's up?
Do you need new pants over there?
I might.
he might too.
The last one that I remember playing was on the original Xbox, and it was an adventure in like Asia somewhere. It was like Chinese themed. Like it was super like the voice acting was. It was a classic like 2000s game. The voice acting was super hokey, but it was really cool. Like you definitely felt like Indiana Jones. It definitely wasn't like as polished up as it could have been, but it still was really cool. I think a lot of people overlook that and they forget that, there are so many things that are under the umbrella of Lucasfilms and then even like the Lucasfilms games of things that they can make games from and do things with. And that's really exciting. But
Yeah.
I think alone, just on the premise of Star Wars alone and like just what Star Wars is and what can it encompass, I think the fact that they're continuing the Jedi game is just outstanding. Um Fallen Order was a game that it kind of came out of nowhere when it was announced, and it was really exciting when they announced like the trailer for it was great because it was like, oh, like who is this? Like who is this guy? And it's like so many people. Oh, bye Jimmy.
Oh,
Oh, Jimmy just quit.
doo. We'll give him a hot second. You can go keep going.
So like
Warming up.
everybody was like, "Oh, it's the oopsie doozy."
Oops.
That's
Uh,
what happens. That happens when we scroll Discord on your other computer that's not hooked up in any way to Discord.
Way to go, dude.
Nice.
But like everybody was like, "Oh, it's the kid from Shameless," Oh, that's cool. And I was like, "Why is the kid from Shameless in a Star Wars game?" And he ended up becoming one of my favorite Jedi, and then also one of my favorite characters in the game to play, which was so rad. Um, and it's just like Jedi Fallen Order followed track with what some of the best Star Wars moments in the last 5 years of games and movies have done, and that's give you the ultimate experience, throw something at you that just makes you go, "Holy shit." And then years later, you're still talking about it and you still get excited about it. And they've done it with the shows, they've done it with the games, and it's just been like the true Star Wars stuff has been super fantastic to see flesh out. Like yeah, so Aaron and I we've played through, Fallen Order. I've played through it 1.5 times. How many times have you played through it, Aaron?
I played through it one time all the way
Oh,
through.
one time.
Yeah. And then after that, I was totally hooked on playing random first-person shooters again. So it was like I jumped in, played some third person, and I was like, sweet, that was an incredible experience. And then I jumped back to my first person
Well,
nonsense. So
it's just cool to see. It's just very cool to see how these studios are like especially like the Star Wars, like how they're doing it, and like the flashback sequences in Fallen Order were absolutely incredible. They were super fun to partake in, and it was like it was cool because there was like an emotional draw to it
Yeah.
because you immediately, like when they're doing like the whole Order 66 deal like throughout, So for those of you, the game's been out forever. I'm sorry, I'm not sorry. So throughout Jedi Fallen Order, there is a whole bunch of flashback sequences that happen that go back into Cal's history of when he was trained when he was a Padawan and he was trained to become a Jedi. And it was like right when Order 66 started is like when he was like getting into like the meat of his Padawan training. So you're seeing him, like he's on a Republic battle cruiser and he's with his Jedi master and Order 66 happens and you're like learning new powers of yourself and you're going through it as like Order 66 is going on. And of course they introduce all of these clones, and you're like buddy buddy with them and everybody that knows what's going on, you're like, "Oh man, stop being friendly with them, dude. Like this is not going to go well. Like it's just bad." I mean, it's still cool to play through it. It's still cool to do it and it's just the progression of that story and the progression of the game was just super fun. And the fact they're continuing that is really really incredible and very excited to continue that story as well, but also the fact that they're going to be doing an FPS Star Wars adventure. That's rad too, because what was the last Star Wars like FPS adventure
Like a
that you got
Star
to?
Wars standalone first-person shooter is
Yeah,
probably
I
Republic
mean,
Commando.
I remember
yeah,
Shadows of the
Commando.
Empire, but it would have been like Republic Commando.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Republic
we
Commando.
may be looking at something in that vein, or we may be looking at something that is a tie into the current television series stuff. That's what I've been
They
thinking while we've been talking about is we might be looking at something that's Boba Fett. We might be looking at something that's
Hmm.
Mandalorian. Uh,
they
I
tied
know
Jedi.
Jimmy was bringing some stuff up earlier that we kind of halted on because it was kind of breaking our brains a little bit. Uh, if you want to dive into that a little bit,
So a lot of people know about the old Project 1313, which was basically a Boba Fett game. So rumors that, I mean, if you think about it, like how many people do you really want to play as shooting in Star Wars? Like who? Like if you really want to get people on the boat,
Sorry.
like hey, I want a Star Wars shooter. Like I mean, you got what the
Yeah.
old Dash Rendar. He's not coming back. Like
you got
Han
Republic
Solo.
Commandos and you got Boba Fett.
Shadows of the Empire, right?
Yeah,
Maybe Han Solo or
What
Chewie.
was?
yeah. And you got right now. I
So
mean, you got Mandalorian to choose from. He's about the only other one
God,
that
dude.
you can choose from at this point.
Mhm.
Mando and Boba. That's who
Yeah,
you got. So, or oh god, think about if they made just like a whole thing around just Mandalorians. Cool.
I would
That's
play a
something I hope
game.
they dive into
Give
later on.
me the game where they make Bill Burr your main character, and
I Let me tell you something.
I would play a whole game voiced by Bill Burr.
Just by
Just
Bill
he's
Burr.
ad libbing the entire time in the Star Wars universe. I will play that game. Let me have that one.
I tell
Look
you
at this
what,
cocky guy. He's dead.
Bill Burr went up in, like I was always a fan of Bill Burr. I was. I love the guy to death. I think he's absolutely fucking hilarious. I think he's a great comedian. I think he's a pretty decent human being too, man. Like he always says some good stuff. He always has good talks, whatever he's on. Watching him progress his character through 2 seasons of The Mandalorian, that dude can act. That
Yeah.
guy, he earned a lot from me as a performer in everything he brought to the table as his character. Because the first season, you hated him. You're like, this dude, like, I can't stand, like, you were like, he was a good bad guy, like, he was a good scoundrel, which was awesome. And then in the second season, I'm not gonna lie, when in the second season of Mandalorian, I was like, I want to see this dude get blown up by Redonian. I want to see him get caught under one of these tires. Like, let's
Hmm.
just see something bad happen.
And he sits at that damn table.
Oh my god, dude. With Richard Brake, the dude that killed Bruce Wayne's parents
The
and screwed the team over in Doom. I just a couple of the movies that I've recognized him from, but he sits down at that
Wait,
table
which one was he in Doom?
in no Doom, Doom with The Rock and Carl Urban.
Yeah, I watched it the other day. Which one was he?
He was Portman, the
The
blonde
one that
slick
kept. Okay, yeah, the one that kept
blonde
putting
slick.
Bible verses and shit.
No, no, not Goat. I've watched Doom way too many times, and I hate the fact I know all the squad guys. Like it's bad. It's unhealthy. Anyway, he was the one in the
Literally
beginning.
watched it 'cause it's one of the worst movies you've ever
Uh,
watched. So the
It's
fact that you've
it's
watched it more
it's
than
it's
required just hurts
so
me.
it's so bad, but it's so good because of it. Anyway,
We literally
but
sent the scene to our Marine buddies of The Rock
look, man,
screaming, "Semper Fi, motherfucker!"
Semper Fi, motherfucker. Yeah, that part's
Amazing.
awful. I don't like that. That part's awful. Anyway, no, he was the dude that was he got killed when he was on the can when he was trying to call for backup.
Oh yeah,
That guy,
yeah,
yeah, that's
yeah.
Richard Brake, same dude. Anyway, yeah,
Okay, yeah.
Bill Burr sits down at that table, and Operation Cinder, like they're bringing up more cool canon Star Wars shit, like
They're bringing up
you
stuff that
know,
happened in the video game, right? Like
yeah,
we're
yeah,
seeing stuff that was happening in.
Inferno Squad,
It's like
like
that universe synergy where you're like building and building and
yeah,
building, but you're
they're
keeping
bringing
it
that
all
together,
together in canon, and that's an important thing moving forward for the video games too. Is that this is all
100%,
canon.
hundred
Don't
percent,
forget, we're seeing stuff that is canon, and we
and now
could
they're
be
bringing it
seeing
in.
in live action or cartoon or any other show. Like any of that stuff
Hmm.
could be. It can all be together. Like we and if you've seen the most recent episode of Boba Fett, you will have seen something that is very, very near and dear to your heart as well. If you're a Star Wars gamer, so just
Setting up, but
seeing all of these
yeah.
pieces come together is just incredible. So like seeing Operation Cinder in The Mandalorian was just it was unreal. Like I was and
Hearing
seeing
about
Bill
it was
Burr
oh.
act that out was incredible. So I would totally play a Bill Burr game.
Dude,
Just
he was crying, man. Like
yeah,
the hurt, like why,
yeah.
what the fuck was the point? And then he just blasts him out of his boots. Just what I really wanted out of that whole thing was when he does it. I wanted the camera to come back and show Pedro Pascal, Bill Burr, and then just a pair of boots just smoking, feet still on the fucking floor.
Just
That
all
would have been
Looney
great.
Tunes as hell. Yeah,
Yep.
just go for it.
But
They
like
did give
it
us a
just
nice Looney Tunes moment right afterward, though, so that was nice of them.
everything about that was great, but yeah, there's just there was the other thing about like the continuity of things in Jedi Fallen Order, in the Bad Batch, um,
Maybe we're getting a
was it
Bad Batch game.
what? Oh my god, that'd be great. But they all have
Swap between all 5 members.
stop it. They have stop it. But they have the Execute Order 66 announcement from Darth Sidious. They have the speech from Revenge of the Sith in Bad Batch, and they're
Yeah,
showing it from the perspective of the battalions outside on Coruscant. They're keeping this continuity, and it's like, hey, this did happen. This was going on, and it's like there's so much happening with it, which is phenomenal. This week's episode of Book of Boba Fett was so good, and I'm not going to give anything away about it at all. Aaron knows what I'm talking about, but
it's
just
just good.
everything that happened to the Book of Boba Fett. Not only was it great fan service, and I'll just say that, not only was it great fan service, but it did a great job of keeping the continuity, just keeping that echo of everything that has happened in the Star Wars franchise, beforehand, just keeping it together. And that's so exciting. So seeing that and then seeing the announcement of the games that they have coming, it's so exciting. Like Dave, John, doing Lord's work, guys. Seriously,
Yeah,
keep it up, please. It's so good, man. I can't wait to see. This 2022 is the year of the nerd, man. It just is, and it's like, is Star Wars getting ready to kind of take back, the throne of nerddom with, everything that's going on? Because we know what's happening this year. Book of Boba Fett's going to wrap, and Mandalorian 3 is coming up. Mandalorian Season 3 is coming up. They have all these games that they're going to be releasing and talk about releasing and coming out. It's like, is 2022 going to be the year for Star Wars where we go, 2020 blah 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 needs to get here so I can play Jedi Fallen Order 2, or I can play a Bad Batch game, or can I play, all these things that Aaron is just teasing me with. Is this when it's happening? Like, is this it?
Yeah.
Are we in it? Is this simulation working now?
I think the one piece of all of it that is the biggest question mark right now is like, what is this strategy game gonna be? Like, what are they gonna build for us
Can I tell you something?
on
I
that
don't
end?
care. I don't care what it's gonna be. I will play it if it's original trilogy. I will play it if it's the Mandalorian extended universe. I like strategy games. I do. I love the patience that those have, and I would love to see that in a Star Wars universe. And I will caveat off of that. Why is this going to be great, especially with who's making it? Go on.
Yeah. So the as we talked about, of course it died. Um, so with Bit Reactor being a part of that, it becoming obviously their whole thing is that they want to do turn-based strategy games. The coming off of XCOM, it's the Greg Ford. I'm not gonna try Greg. He's a former art director for XCOM, Enemy Unknown, and XCOM 2. Like they could be anywhere in Star Wars and do this game, and it would be it would be awesome. Like you
Mhm.
know what the pedigree is, right? Like we know who's making it, we know what they've done in the past, and we know what they are capable of creating. If they just take some of that same formula and throw all of the Star Wars with like whatever quirky mechanics that they want to throw into it, like they're gonna do a great
I mean,
job.
hell, you could just reskin XCOM 2 with
Okay, so
So you
I
could
stormtroopers, and
do
people will
anything. You could
fucking
do
go gangbusters
stormtroopers. You
for it.
could do an XCOM-y
I wasn't gonna do this
an
'cause-
XCOM-y. You could do XCOM style super soldiers with the Bad Batch, for instance, where it's like everybody's a specialist and they all do their own thing. You could do so many things in this universe, and then like you could also do a brand new story, which is what we
Mhm.
kind of see them doing. Is that they're not really rehashing the same crap over and over again. They're going
yeah.
and making new stories that are also part of the canon. So
So I'm
that's one of the more important pieces is, are they going to go do something brand new, which we kind of see that they want to do because that's what they did with Fallen Order. That's what they did with Battlefront 2. They made new stuff. They didn't just stick to what the movies were doing. They didn't just stick to what the shows were doing. They were like, "Hey, let's take that big epic and do whatever smaller piece underneath what that is and make sure that we're still hitting the same notes of family adventure, um, personal sacrifice, things like that. Like they're still hitting these notes that are important to Star Wars and building on making the canon even deeper, and then we see those pieces brought back up to the movies. We see it brought back up to the television shows. We see it brought back up to the cartoons. Like these are now integrated into the Star Wars universe. So I expect whatever we're getting from these three games is going to be a brand new story. And that's exciting to me as a Star Wars super nerd. That's exciting. I'm just
yeah.
excited about that. That's going to be super fun to mess with and kind of see where that goes from here.
So I'm not usually one to throw flies into the ointment on purpose, but this one I totally did, and there's a reason for it. So I sent it to you, Aaron, in a message, but I also shared it in our little group there as well. Somebody made a Star Wars mod for XCOM, and I have been looking at it for a couple of weeks now, and it is so well polished and so smooth. So if you never played any of the XCOM games, the details that you could put into your characters is pretty rad. Um,
Nope.
you can change everything from their country of origin to their armor, to their weapons, to like if they're wearing bandana, like it's full character customization in an RTS game, which is wild. And somebody went and they made a mod Star Wars skins for XCOM, and it just makes me more excited for this because it looks so good. Like whoever made the mod for it, they need money. They need just actual money because they've made a very good They've made a very good it's XCOM maps, but they have just like dressed everything in Star Wars, and it looks so good. Yeah, that video. Oh, it is so good. You could just skip right to like the actual meat and potatoes of it, and where it's like the actual
There
game
we
part,
go.
and it's just oh, like it's great. Cause like the maps themselves, like they said, they're very much XCOM maps, and they're very much like you recognize it immediately from the XCOM games, but the units, the armor, the guns, the sounds, the character animations, it's great. It's so good. And that's kind of how the mod is the Halo mod is for like called Arms. And it's just honestly, I think game companies they need to go more to the recruitment house of the interwebs for things like these because these are people that this was a free mod as well.
Hmm.
To my understanding, everything I saw, this was a mod that was free for anybody that wanted to get it. This wasn't like one you had to pay for. This wasn't like some sort of like an additional whichever. Like it was just if you want it, just download it and port it into your game and enjoy the shit out of it, which is awesome. Um, and there's people out there that, they just want to make cool things and they want to do cool stuff and you know, I'm just really excited to see how this is going to go. And it seems like everything with Star Wars the last couple of years, it seems like everybody's starting to listen to the fans a little bit more. Like the fact that Rosario Dawson was cast to play Ahsoka Tano in, Mandalorian season 2 after it started off as only like something on the internet. Oh man, she should play her. That'd be great. Oh, she should totally do it. And they willed it into fucking existence to
Where they
make it
actually brought in
happen.
Katie Sackhoff.
And
Yeah.
like the fact that all these things are happening, it's like how do you not get excited at the potential of these three games that are going to be coming out for a strategy game, an FPS game, and continuing, Jedi Fallen Order? Like we're especially like chronologically where Jedi Fallen Order, lands, within the Star Wars universe. Like what, the potentials of where that they're going to put him with that is really exciting, and I can't wait to see that. But the FPS, what can happen there? The turn-based game, like what could they possibly do there? And seeing like this footage just makes me all the more excited because it's like somebody did this in their free time. Somebody did this when they weren't working at Costco or T-Mobile or whatever they were doing, and they made this. Like, what is going to happen with you know a bunch of people that are actually paid and this is their everyday 9 to 5? Like, what are they going to do? Like, it's so exciting.
Yeah.
And it's just, I'm gonna say it at least once every episode going forward that 2022 is the year of the nerd, and I'm so excited to see where they go and what we do with this because it's just, oh, it's exciting. I'm excited. I'm nerding out. I need new pants.
Nerding out and needing new pants. Jimmy, why don't you play us off a little bit on your final thoughts on where you see the Star Wars games going with this announcement?
I think it's good because I mean, obviously, Respawn's only been working on Apex for quite a while, and people want to see more stuff out of them. So they've already proven they have just oodles of talent, just sitting there. Like they're good with it. Everything they do just comes out wonderfully, even if it maybe doesn't get the attention it should. Titanfall, uh,
Mm,
but it
I
it
miss
looks good. It
Titanfall
does
so
worry
much.
me a little bit that that maybe they'll be moving into realms that aren't shooters. So like it, but being that the pedigree they have for the games that aren't, um, it looks good to me. Like I'm really looking forward to it. I'm most excited for probably the turn-based one because I was somebody who never played a lot of XCOM until the one time I was like, oh, I'll give it a shot, and then 3 weeks later I came up for air like, oh, where is everyone? Oh crap. So it's just one of those games.
Yeah.
It just sucks you in and you don't know what is going on. Um,
Just one more turn.
but the Fallen Order sequel, like everyone knew that was going to be coming. If they do the same amount of work they did on the last one, it'll be a hit. Like, it didn't click with me, so it's not my focal point there. Maybe I'll give it another shot eventually, but probably not anytime soon. But Yeah, overall, I'm surprised. I am a little surprised to see 3 games out of the same studio, so I gotta wonder, like, what's gonna be the gap between the launch there? Like, either like, how big is Respawn that they can work on all 3 of these games at once? Or, like, how much resources they have to devote to each one of these, so I have to wonder, are they gonna be trying to release these in a close window? Or are they gonna be releasing them, like, a year apart each and, shifting people around to work on them?
Yeah, and I think that's pretty fair. Seeing three, and we're seeing them teaming up for that, um, which I think is probably something that we're going to see more often, is studios teaming up for releases
Yeah.
as
Mhm.
things with COVID continue on to make and limit how much they can have in house or how many people are actually even working on games at one time. So they're teaming up for that third one, the strategy game, and we'll probably see them doing more of. I would expect, seeing them do more of like the technical side of stuff, not so much the game design and all that. But who knows? Maybe that's me speaking out of turn. Maybe they'll be just in their nitty gritty with the other team as well. So I'm I think we are probably seeing them get more assets from EA on this and on these projects. Like that's really where their strength lies, is that they are owned by EA. They do get all of that help and as many assets as they're going to need for these games that are going to be huge hits for them. Um, EA understands that Fallen Order was one of the only pieces of Star Wars that they've done that has been good, other than
Completely
the Squadrons,
counterproductive to their
which was
original no more single player content.
yeah, and Squadrons was another one that was sort of a sleeper for them that I don't think they were expecting to do well because they released it and were instantly like, "Well, that was the game. All right, well,
That was it. Have fun.
yep,
Yeah.
bye.
Don't
Ha-
hurt yourself.
I hope you had fun. That's the game. That's it. That's all. That's all we
Goodbye.
have."
Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Have a good
So,
time.
we're gonna see probably more support for this moving forward. I think they
Yeah.
were
I would
probably
say
also in a position where they weren't sure what was gonna happen with their license, and now that they kind of know what the licensing looks like for them, they know that they need
Yeah.
a studio that's proven, and that's what they're
Now they
doing.
know they have a future as well. It's hard to make plans to do something if you're like, well, what's the point of doing it if we're not even gonna have it? But now that they know that they have it, it's like, all right, well, dust off everything that you had, Boys and Girls Club. Like, we're here.
I mean,
Unpack everything.
if you look at the development costs and such behind it, think how much more successful they would have been with their Star Wars franchises. They just cut out all the bloat crap monetization that they've been using over the years. So you look at like Fallen Order didn't have a whole lot of I think what did it have a season pass maybe?
No, it didn't
No,
even
I
have
think it
that.
had
It was
didn't have any of
just
that. It was just straight like
it was a
here it
purchase.
is.
You play it. They did a couple of things, like they added like a single not single player, like a master mode or something, whatever they called it,
Hmm.
where you basically could go back through with a different skin of your character, and then they added like
It was
a
like New Game Plus.
they added like a yeah, it was New Game Plus, and then they added a dueling setup for you, where you could like make a bunch of different fights for yourself in the game. Like that was
Mhm.
like that's about it. It didn't seem like they were adding a ton of new content, and they didn't care to. Like that was
Yeah.
it. All the stuff
So you
all
look
the
at
cosmetics, all the paint jobs, all that stuff, you found it in the game. You earned it as you went, and
so you
that was
look
the
at all
whole thing.
those and like I would be interested to see how much money those gross overall compared to the whale ships, the battlefronts, the things that they put just this egregious amount of monetization into,
Yeah,
and see if maybe they learned some lessons from it. Like these 2 games were just bang out of the park, just monster hits.
they were great.
But
They
how
were
much money did they
incredible
make?
hits. But so I mean, if you're gonna do any kind of a microtransaction game, it has to be a free to play, right? Like that's just part of it. It has to be a
It
free to
doesn't
play,
pass anymore. It's not
and
going to fly.
then you have to
Oh,
then do microtransactions on the other side. Like you can't make people pay to get your game and then
Pay
expect
the entry fee. Yeah.
microtransactions. Like you're not gonna. That's not how this system works
Well, it's
anymore.
extra greedy,
Yeah, exactly. It's like, here we've already given
and
you
it's
$60. I've already given you a ton of money. Like, why do I
yeah.
have to now pay you yet again to get something in my game? Um, I don't expect any of that for these games, and I expect more of the same greatness from Respawn. I love what they are putting out and continue to do. I expect polish, and it's going to be a fun time seeing what these become and what era they end up in, and what we actually see from them in terms of mechanics and game style. Like these are exciting for me because it's three very different types of gaming. It's potentially three brand new stories again, and more ways that Star Wars gets even better. So I'm hyped for what we're gonna see from this, and looking forward to the future. Um,
Yeah.
but the future is a hot minute away, boys and girls. While you're waiting, why don't you tell me where people can find you, Jimmy?
You can find me as always over on the wonderful Twitch channel of Jimmy and Nubs. So not hard to find. Find us there on Twitter or Instagram or I think we're even on TikTok now. But I don't actually put
Ooh.
anything out on Instagram or TikTok. So mostly it's just me finding cat videos.
Well, that's a wonderful bit of information that I didn't know about you before. Are
Interactions are
you guys going to
interactions.
be? What are you guys going to be playing in the coming weeks and months?
Right now, let's see, World of Tanks just released a new line yesterday, so that's kind of where I'm working. I have to tinker with Nub's audio because for some reason her Windows update just absolutely destroyed her audio and voice meter, so I have to mess with that. But she's playing God of War. I think at some point we're going to finish our dual playthrough of Mass Effect trilogy. And I think after that, we're either going to play It Takes Two, or actually I just bought her Risk of Rain 2, so maybe we'll play that together.
Nice. Uh,
Also, maybe a bit of Ready or Not.
oh, well, there
That's
you
been
go.
fun.
A little bit of ready or not. Stevie gets really excited. That's a good segue into what Stevie's going to be playing. Stevie, what are you going to be playing? Where can people find you? How are you going to be on there? What are you going to be doing?
I will also be on the wonderful Twitch. It is at twitch.tv/Stevie underscore V underscore. I'm also on the Instagram and the YouTube and the TikTok as well. It's all just Stevie underscore V. You can check those out there.
Underscore.
Underscore. Some no, some have the extra underscore. I think the only ones that have the extra underscore are my Twitter and my Twitch. Everything else is just one underscore and V. I'm currently at war right now with the musical artist Stevie V from back in the '90s for the domain dominance right now. So I think him and I are gonna meet somewhere, and we're just gonna thumb wrestle for who gets it. But more of that to come. I'm gonna be playing Escape from Tarkov. They've teased a couple of things coming out for new guns and new perks and things to play with your raiders or beat your head against the wall with. I'm definitely going to keep going with the RTS thread. I've really been enjoying playing Company of Heroes and playing Call to Arms. I almost said Call for Fire. Playing Call for Fire all the time, it's always great. But playing Call to Arms has been good. I am honestly giving a lot of thought into. I might even download it tonight and do it tomorrow, or maybe later, early next week. I won't be around this much this weekend, but I think I'm gonna do the Star Wars mods for XCOM just to kind of flush out
Convinced
some more.
himself on it
I
tonight.
I
He just
really I
convinced
re
himself.
I really did because it's just been so funny because I've been looking at it, like I was talking with Cam about it like last week, and everything that we've been talking about tonight. It's like, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna get it, we're gonna do it, and we're gonna check it out. So I'll be doing that. So check us out. I am there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. I'll be on the Twitch channel. I actually switched my off days this week. I took Tuesday night off rather than tonight, so I will be live later on. But yeah, you can catch me over there, and we'll be doing a lot of good fun stuff. And if you guys want to talk about whatever the episodes, what this week's episode was, and you want to chat about it, I'm totally down to do that as well. We definitely have some fun over there, so come check us out.
Yeah, make sure you guys head over to Stevie's Twitch. Make sure you guys head over to Jimmy's Twitch. If you're looking to find everybody that is on the This Week in Gaming, this is the last night of This Week in Gaming. Heads up, by the way, we're changing the brand name on it. We will be kind of workshopping that in the Discord. But if you want to find
We're
out where you can
leveling
get
up.
people, make sure you head over to the Discord and check us out. You will be able to find Stevie. You'll be able to find Jimmy there. You'll be able to find a bunch of different streamers that you can give a follow to. including all the places that you can find me all around the internet, to include this Twitch channel, the YouTube. You can find us on Spotify. You can find us on Instagram. You can find me on Instagram personally, a couple different companies of mine on Instagram as well. Make sure you check us out on Facebook, Call for Fire
Aaron's
Designs.
diversified.
We are all over the internet. Come check it out. Make sure you hit up shopcallforfire.com and get yourself something nice, including the nice, wonderful Warfighter shirt that I'm wearing tonight, and the nice little Feral Company shirt that Stevie is wearing as well. You can find all of these things at shopcallforfire.com. Go ahead and hit that Discord. You'll find a link somewhere on there
Well,
to
we
the
own the
website.
night shirt.
I hope that you guys had a good time tonight. I want to say one more time thank you to Xenocide for the follow. Make sure that you guys check us out next week, where we will be doing our guilty pleasure games. At long last, we're going to do this topic. We got some people lined up. It's going to be a fun time. We are going to plan for a show special. We're going to do the trivia night again very, very soon. So stay tuned for that announcement as well.
I need redemption.
Uh,
I need redemption.
Until then, I want to say thank you to you all. Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you, Stevie. Thank you, everyone in chat, for coming out tonight. And I will see you guys again next week for yet another edition of whatever the hell this week in gaming becomes. Until then, have fun, be safe, don't drink and drive. Love you, mean it. Bye.
There we go. The shuffling up.
Shuffle those papers, boys. We're going to raid a channel, everybody. Just stay with me.